born to be a star. I can be your savior. The boys. And sometimes girls keep slipping into the future. What happened last? Then you be free to be the real me. Cause you were my baby. I love you right. An American rebel.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a commercial for my CD. It's called The Royal Collection, available on Spotify, iTunes, and YouTube, anywhere you can download and stream music. Also, I want to give a big shout out to the show sponsor, C60 Evo. Yes, Tuesdays with Rebel is sponsored by C60 Evo. This is an amazing antioxidant. It gives you 1,000 times more antioxidants than vitamin C. Think about it. It gives you better night's rest. It gives you better mental clarity and lots of energy and beautiful skin. So I'm going to take a shot of it. Double shot. Yummy. We love it. The link is in the description. And don't forget to use discount code EVRRR for how many? How much is it? 10% off. Yes. All right. So this is Tuesdays with Rebel. We are live every single week at 12 p.m. PST. I apologize for coming on later on. We had a little bit of technical difficulties and at one point I thought I was live and I wasn't live. It takes me a while to get back into the groove of things. You know how it goes when you travel. I was just in DC for a while, working with Loud and Medical Aesthetics. Michelle Fisher, shout out to you. She was doing some laser hair removal, and of course, she does amazing things with my skin. She's my skincare guru, and we love her tons. Anyway, that's Loud and Medical Aesthetics. Shout out to you. I love you. But yeah, we've got some big things to talk about today. First of all, I've got shows that I'm planning to do, some in DC. We are working on it, and also in Vegas. So some really good things are happening on the music front and on the booking side of things. I'm pretty excited. On the 15th, I'm flying out to Vegas to work with a big fashion photographer named Reinhardt. I got a new PR agent who isn't afraid of me being, quote, right-leaning, which is pretty cool. Because I've lost other people in the past, PR agents who just couldn't really get behind an artist who voted for Trump openly. And that's their prerogative. You know what I mean? Like, and I did dive in really hard into everything. So I understand. I mean, the industry is pretty hyper liberal. So I understand why they did it, but I didn't like that they did it. But at the same time, I have manifested a real trooper, a girl who loves this country and happens to be in alignment with a lot of my views. But besides that, she believes in my talent and believes in me. And she believes that she can really get some good reviews for my new album, get some reviews happening, get some interviews happening. My album comes out this summer. I'm talking so much. I guess I'm just really excited to see all of you. How are you doing, by the way? How are we doing out there? Oh, look we have a new fan here, Sharon Cassell. Welcome to the show. Make sure you guys share this live broadcast. If you're watching on Facebook, share it with all of your friends. You know, it's great. It helps me, helps promote it. Share the broadcast. And if you're on YouTube, we love it when you do super chats. We really appreciate that. If you can give us stars on Facebook, we really appreciate that. We appreciate that too. All super chats will be thrown up on the screen immediately, and we will engage with you. So without further ado, I want to give a big shout out to my co-host, Adam Francisco. Adam.
What up, everybody? How you doing out there in MAGA land?
MAGA country. This is MAGA country, right?
This is MAGA country. And I apologize for my setup. I had to switch rooms today because of Wi-Fi problems. And this is our studio, me and Tara from the T&A Show.
All right.
But you guys are getting a view of all the wires and cables behind me.
Wow, that's pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad it worked, though.
It's
working now.
Yeah, we're live, guys. It's my fault. The delay's on me. My bad.
All right, it's all good. It's all good. So today we're going to talk about the Supreme Court is scheduled to overturn Roe versus Wade. Have you guys heard about this? This is pretty big news all around the world. Oh, look at that. We got a nice
Hell yeah.
show of love.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Nurka
you.
Lopez Cuba. Gracias,
Cuba.
señorita.
Shout out to you, baby. We appreciate you.
That's right.
As they say in Japan, arigatou gozaimasu.
Arigatou gozaimashita.
Oh, look at this guy. Make music great again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've got some lined up dates coming up soon performing, so I'm pretty excited.
I got to go to one of your
stage.
shows.
Yeah.
I need to see you perform.
I'm committed to creating the greatest show on earth, so I got a lot of work to do. Got a lot of whips to crack.
Of all the places that you've performed, what's been your favorite city so far?
Favorite city by far has been all of Japan, Tokyo.
They must love you out there because of your style and fashion.
Yeah, they really do. They go crazy bananas. I think the reason why I'm taken so like they like me so much is because I feel like in Japan they really love Michael Jackson. They really love like mastery of things. Like they're not they're I think they're not as into Cardi B, for instance. In America, we worship Cardi B and trash, but
right. Wow.
I mean, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, whatever you want to call it, whatever that is, they worship. Americans, we worship trash. It's fine, and cash me outside. The girl Barbie who has she made $1 million overnight on OnlyFans. We worship trash. That's fine. It's all good. But in Japan, they worship mastery. Everything is about they want mastery of things. They take a lot of care in their work. Every time they cook food, they have to be the best chef. It's their honor. And I feel like I have a lot of that in me. It's like if I'm gonna perform on stage, it's gonna be like just fucking well rehearsed, like
hell yeah,
like mastery. Like that's what Michael brought to the table. So they really appreciate kind of like that vibe too. They love Michael Jackson. So of course they're going to be maybe a little more gravitating towards my music. But not to say that all Americans worship trash. I don't really mean that. I know a lot of us have culture and style and fashion and class. I know we do, but I'm talking about majority, like in the music world. We all know this, right? A lot of you can't even listen to the radio anymore, right? And to me, I like WAP. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah,
I like it.
Beat.
It's a good fucking beat, and it is a hot video. So I'm it is what it is. But anyway, I think that's what the deal is. But I like to make a big show out here, and I think Vegas is the best place for me because it's got like it's all about the flash and everything being big, and I'm going to have the most beautiful women behind me. Make sure it's straight. Make sure you get those for the straight guys. I want to make sure I have like the hottest women around me. It's very important that I surround myself with beautiful women, and that's how I'm going to win the game.
Hell yeah. Speaking of women, what a segue. Let's talk about this Roe versus Wade possibly being overturned by SCOTUS.
Wow.
Crazy
Let's
shit.
Bring up the article, the political article. It just came out today. And we have to say, they didn't really, it's an opinion, right? Supreme Court has voted to overturn abortion rights, draft opinion shows.
Now, keep in mind that this opinion, quote unquote, was apparently leaked. And this was not meant to be exposed to the public at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So there's already now this controversy about who leaked it and why did they leak it. And the theory is it was leaked by a liberal clerk in order to cause mass protest and rioting, which we're starting to see now. We're starting to see the beginning of it, to pressure some of the judges into not moving forward with this opinion piece or to changing their opinion by the time this is supposed to be finalized by June.
Wow.
So, this is a very grave injustice that our top court in the country has been compromised like this.
This is a quote from Justice Samuel Alito. Roe was egregiously wrong from the start. Its reasoning was exceptionally weak and the decision has had damaging consequences. And far from bringing about a national settlement of the abortion issue, Roe and Casey have inflamed debate and deepened division.
So the one thing that people have to keep in mind is just because Roe and Casey gets overturned, it doesn't mean that people can't get abortions in this country.
Yeah.
It's just going to allow blue states and red states to have individual guidelines.
Right.
So you're going to have more restrictions in the red states, and then the blue states you're still going to be allowed to have abortions in those blue states. My biggest issue with the left today is that they seem to not want any restrictions into abortion.
Right.
They seem to be okay with killing the baby even after it's born. And there's been some states that have passed guidelines recently, laws, I guess, that say if the baby dies within like a month of its birth, your only responsibility is to give it a caring death, and you won't even be held accountable for the murder of the baby. So they've taken it really too far now to actual newborn infants.
Yeah.
And to me,
remember Northam? We got to keep the baby. We keep the baby comfortable.
Yeah, it's sick. It's
sickening. Keep the baby comfortable.
It's sickening. And Matt Walsh, I don't know if you're familiar with his work, but he's right. He says there really is no need to murder the baby during an abortion. There's a difference between terminating a pregnancy and then murdering the baby. A lot of times you can terminate the pregnancy, but try to keep the baby alive. And, why not do that? When you're going to have an abortion, why not do that? Why not, especially late-term abortion, why not keep the baby alive? That should be your goal. Get the baby out, keep it alive.
Right.
Huh.
This is a very divisive issue for the country, and I think that's why the Democrats are doing this right now. They want to try to get some votes to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it's not, I don't think it's going to work, to be honest. I don't think this is the issue that I don't think it's going to, I don't think their plan is going to work. I think more people are centrist on this issue than not. I think more people believe that there should be a moderate, view on this, as far as like there's a certain time period. And then once they go past that time period, they've gone too far and you got to have the baby now. A majority of our country is there, and they're banking on the fact that they think that the country is wildly left leaning and wants full, abortion capabilities, even 40 days after the baby is alive, which is absolutely insane. And I think that they pushed it too far. They pushed it so far to the left that now this is happening. Now it's happening like this, where they're talking about overturning it.
Yep. I mean, you said it best. The statistics show, and Tim Pool was talking about this earlier today. If you ask the majority of Americans if they're pro-life or pro-choice, most Americans would say they're pro-choice, right? But if you ask them a different question, do you believe abortion should have some sort of restrictions? Most Americans would agree that there should be some level of restrictions into abortion. So they are pro-choice within limitations. Right. And that's a really important distinction.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me. I just feel like the liberals, first of all, outside of the situation of rape, unless a woman is raped, a woman is choosing whether or not to have sex with a man, right? It's like a choice. Besides rape, right? Rape is a different situation, but it's almost like these liberals who are pro-abortion want the ability to have meaningless sex without any accountability of the consequences of heterosexual sex. Like,
right.
My whole life I was pro-choice for about 35 years. I was pro-choice. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, since I feel like our audience is kind of our friends now.
Yeah.
Did I always use protection? Hell no, I didn't always use protection, and
it doesn't feel as good.
Doesn't feel as good, right? But like,
I'm just gonna lay it out there. I'm just gonna say it.
But the thing is just like, did I sleep with girls that I didn't want a future with or didn't want families with? Of course I did. And every time I slept with a girl without a condom on, and she had no birth control, there was a chance she would get pregnant. Like that's a risk I took. And I was really effective at the pull-out method, right? That's, I guess, what they call it, the
I bet
pull-out.
you were. I bet you were.
My pull-out game is better than Joe Biden's pull-out game in Afghanistan. Let me just put it that way. None of my troops, like, they all survive compared to Joe Biden's pull-out game. Fucking terrible. Rest in peace to the 13 soldiers,
That was
obviously.
the worst pullout I've ever seen in my life.
Worst pull-out game.
And I've seen a ton of pullouts.
Yeah.
Man.
But rest in peace to the 13 dead soldiers. But I'm gonna be honest with you, and I spoke about this on my podcast once before. I ended up getting a girl pregnant in 2017, and she had already left the country at that point. She was already in France, and she called me to tell me that she was pregnant. Now, I didn't really believe her, just because no one's ever called me that. No one's ever called to tell me that before. So I had her do the pregnancy test on camera through FaceTime video.
Damn.
So Mark Zuckerberg probably has that footage somewhere. And she, pissed on that thing, whatever, the strip, and it was
serious about it.
And my reaction was to cry, because I didn't know how to handle the news that I got someone pregnant.
Were you crying out of fear, or like were you happy, or were you scared?
I would say confusion. It was like an overwhelming thoughts of fear, happiness, joy, anxiety, everything, every emotion. It just my reaction was just to cry. I didn't know what to do. So I asked her what she wanted to do, and she was very pro-choice. And I said to her, hold on now, whatever's inside your stomach is 50% my DNA. We really should think about this together. And so I thought about this for a week. I said, give me a week to really reflect on, what happened. And I came to the conclusion that how could I abort my own child when I myself was adopted and wasn't aborted? My biological mother, she could have aborted me, but because of her religious beliefs, they put me up for adoption. So I said, you know what? I have the money, I have the time, and I have the desire to be a father to this baby. Whether or not you want to be the mother now is irrelevant to me, because I'm willing to take on the burden or responsibility, whatever you want to call it. And she said, this was the exact answer I was hoping you would not say.
Aww.
And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, I only gave you this week as a courtesy, but I assume that you were also going to be a pro-choicer too and want this baby aborted. And I was just like, at first that was my initial reaction, but as I reflected, I was like, hell no. So I experienced this side of the argument once in my life, where I was the father of a baby that was taken from me against my own will. So it definitely sucks. And I think that overturning Roe versus Wade and giving more rights to the fathers in the situation is a direction that this country needs to go in, because a lot of times we don't talk about the men in, abortions cases where the man wanted to keep the child.
Right.
And the woman didn't. And I think that we need to talk about that more and be open about that. So that's kind of why I'm sharing the story about it. Fast forward to a few years later, she did message me saying she regretted her decision. Just like I thought that she would. I warned her. I said, you're probably going to regret this at some point. It's very traumatic.
That's crazy.
But I will say she did the abortion early enough where she was able to take the pills. And then, it wasn't the morning after pill. It was like the 1 month into her pregnancy pill.
A stronger one. It's really strong.
Yeah. So it like expels the fetus or something. I don't know.
The only way I know about that is because I watched the movie Unplanned.
Yeah.
I went to the red carpet event for that.
So I never cared. I was always pro-choice, but this experience woke me up fully, made me pro-life. And now I'm a pro-lifer, and I fight for the rights of babies when I can. And I think Roe versus Wade needs to be overturned. 60 million babies have been killed in our country. And, we need humans to survive, to keep the race going.
Yeah. So, wow. Deborah Godina says, good point, Adam. That's Mama Rebel, by the way.
Hey, Mama Rebel.
You guys are doing a really good job of commenting and keeping up the engagement. We really appreciate it. We're sharing some really intimate stuff right now. So this is a good time to share and also give us some love. Likes and also super chats are really great. We appreciate it.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a pretty deep story, bro.
Yeah.
I've always been right in the middle on this issue. I haven't really moved either way. I feel bad for the girl who gets pregnant, the young girl, and she's got to, she's got to figure things out on her own, or whatever. It's a scary situation. Your body's going to transform, your body's going to get big and huge, and it's fucking painful. I hear it's the greatest pain in your life to give birth to a baby. It's a big situation. I just with this potential overturning, which we'll talk about how I think it's, I don't know if it's going to happen, but what I think, the thing that I'm worried about is if it goes through, is that if there's like a situation where, the girls are going to abort, right? If they really want to get rid of that kid, they're going to get rid of the kid. I just don't want them to go to like Mexico or get like a coat hanger and, put it up there, what, and try to scoop it out and do things like they did in the past. But the bottom line is that they're not saying that it's illegal to get an abortion. They just want you to go to a blue state in order to do it. Just come to California to kill your baby.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. You know what?
Do you know what I'm saying?
Though, it's going to force men and women to be more thoughtful about sex.
If I was a girl, I would do everything. I always say this about abortion. If I was a girl, I would do everything in my power not to get pregnant. I would do everything.
But the thing is, that's exactly it. It's going to make women in red states. First of all, a lot of them are already going to be pro-life, so they're not going to care about this at all. It's not going to affect their lives. But for the liberals in red states that want abortions, they're just going to have to be more accountable and responsible. They're going to have to make sure they're on birth control. They're going to have to make sure they're using condoms. They're going to have to pay attention to their bodies more. They're going to have to choose better men to sleep with. They're going to have to choose better men to sleep with. Think about that, right? They can't just sleep around now. They're going to have to be like, is this going to potentially be the father of my baby? I better be more selectful in who I sleep with. So
right.
I think that this can actually improve society in a lot of ways, because right now across the board, and remember, I'm a former liberal, right? Like and when it comes to, and we talked about this before, Ricky, when it comes to sex and relationships and monogamy, me and you are very liberal about it. I've enjoyed in my life sleeping around and being, putting myself out there. It is what it is. I'm from New York City. New York City, living in New York City is one of the best cities to be single, because it's a culture of nightlife, bars, restaurants, drinking, single people everywhere. And honestly, I took advantage of that situation of all that access to all the resources.
Yeah.
But I've, as I've gotten older, more mature, I've definitely become more selectful about who I sleep with, date with, and waste my time with, because,
yeah,
I don't want to waste my time with the six. You know what I'm saying? Like when I lived in New York, I'd go out with sixes all the time because I had nothing else to do. Now it's like I'd rather work on myself in that time instead of going out with someone I don't see a future with.
That you could potentially get pregnant.
Yeah, exactly. Like people know my plan. I'm trying to move to the Philippines right now to start a family over there.
Yeah.
And I can't get in right now because I'm unvaccinated. But once that guideline drops, I'm going right to the Philippines to try to look for a potential partner for the mother of my child. So, my views and goals have changed a lot. And I think Roe versus Wade being overturned is going to force people to also mature a little bit.
That would be nice. That would be ideal, I think. Yeah, it would be ideal. I was thinking, the radical left are going crazy over this, right? And I was thinking we could do our libs of TikTok, take a look at some of these reactions that they're having, these completely rational reactions that they're having. Libs of TikTok on Twitter. This is our Libs of TikTok hour or moment.
While we're pulling that up, Diane Turner asked, can Adam explain why the Philippines? Well, so I've traveled around the world a lot. The only places I haven't been is like South America. I haven't been to South America yet. It's, whatever. But me as
they're hot, right? They're hot over there.
Oh, super hot. But me as a Latino already, I want to have a mixed kid. I want an interracial kid. So it would be in my best interest to not choose someone from South America since I already have that blood. So I think going to the Philippines, which would be a pretty cool place. Plus their culture is good. They're 95%. Not that other. I want to be clear. They have great culture, and when it comes to like loyalty and commitment and dating and everything like that, the women there are very, very loyal, and a lot of it stems from their Christianity beliefs. I'm not a Christian, as you guys know. I was raised Jewish, but I'm not practicing Jew, but I was bar mitzvahed. But I do think that Christian values generally are pretty good values. You know, I'm aligned with a lot of them. I'm aligned with a lot of religious values, by the way. Most religions have strong values that are good. But I like my dad's Christian, so I'm familiar with it.
My dad's a Mormon, believe it or not.
Your dad's a Mormon?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I'd love to hear about that.
Not a practicing Mormon, but I mean, he is a Mormon. We grew up.
And here's the other thing. I've dated really successful women before. I've dated doctors. I've dated lawyers. I've dated surgeons. I've dated girls that made like $500,000 a year. The problem with America, though, is women here in the U.S., they try to have it all. They want to have a career, a husband, and a family. It's really hard to have all three and excel in all three. So I believe that if I can date someone who's a bit more traditional, they'll happily focus on some of the aspects I'm not good at. For example, I don't know how to cook, and I'm not good at that stuff. I'm not good at taking care of a home. I'm actually kind of messy guy. So I would like for my partner to fill in those gaps that I don't bring to the table. And so for me, if I go to a developing country like the Philippines, where the women are more traditional, they are naturally conservative. Even the progressive women in the Philippines are conservative relative to the U.S. I'll have more of that traditional relationship. And all the research says relationships where there's some type of gender roles being fulfilled are happier on average because there's a blueprint. There's a blueprint. And if I could bring the dollars from the U.S. to the Philippines, I don't need to make that much money to live really well in the Philippines.
Right.
You know, if I move to the Philippines with $1 million in my bank account, I'm almost set for life, even with the child.
Right.
Which is crazy. Great. We're in America.
And it's beautiful out there too.
And it's beautiful out there. The weather's great. Everything's so cheap. You get a maid, and I've already looked into how much the maids cost. I, of course, would pay more because I just feel like it's too little. But a lot of the stay-at-home maids in Manila, they get paid $60 every 2 weeks. Now, they also live in the home. So you provide housing and you provide food and everything for them. In addition to that, they get $60 every 2 weeks. But when the cost of living is that low, money no longer becomes a stressor in your life. You can kind of remove that element from stress.
Yeah.
And focus on the things that matter. I could spend more time with my family. I could spend more time at home with my kid, you know, as it grows up. And look at Steve. Steve says it right here in our comments. My wife is Filipina. She's awesome. Every Filipino person I met is so faithful and loyal. And there's a lot of Filipinos here in Oahu, Hawaii. Filipinos are awesome.
Oh, that's sweet.
There you go. So again, it's an idea I have. I've never been there long enough I've only been to the airport, to be honest. So I don't know. I just kind of say Philippines half seriously, half joking, but I do think that that's where I could end up finding my potential partner.
Mithras thinks you can find a good girl in the States.
Yeah, but then, you know, then my kid's going to be tied to the American tax system immediately upon birth. If I have a kid overseas, he's kind of off the radar.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to do the Libs of TikTok moment.
Let's
here.
do it. Let's do it.
So we're going to add to the stream here. So this is what abortionists think of aborted babies. These are the same people furious at the thought of Roe versus Wade being overturned. Okay, we'll take a listen to it.
I hope they are.
Jesus, I am so fucking tired of seeing this. You know what? I fucking hope so. I hope so.
I sure hope so.
I don't know. I hope so.
Oh God, I hope so. I can just imagine the fucking snowflakes with that one.
What are they talking about?
Oh no, I just eat mine straight from the can.
Ew.
I don't think we should be asking, are they being burned and used for electricity? I think we should be asking, why aren't they being burned and used for electricity?
Reuse, recycle, and burn them.
Ooh,
sustainable energy. I love the advocacy. We should try it if we have it. Portable charger. Give me your feet.
Aborted babies being burned and then used for electricity?
I hope they are.
Jesus, I am so fucking tired of seeing this. You know what? I fucking hope so. I hope so.
So
I sure hope so.
I don't know. I hope so.
these people are talking about
Yeah.
using babies for energy, recycling their bodies or something.
Right.
And if you look at these people, I'm sorry.
All right. Here
none
it
of
is.
them
Here's
look
the thought.
desirable.
Mashup of pro-abortionists losing their minds over the thought of not being able to kill babies. Ready? Let's watch it.
Fuck.
She's pissed.
This abortion law goes beyond a woman's issue, and it goes
not
beyond
sleep with her.
anything you can ever imagine. The societal
We're not
implications
sleep with
of
this
this are going to be insane. The amount of just pain and damage this is going to cause, and the full ability to tell a woman what she can and can't do with her body.
On
And
her
we're going
body.
back into a Handmaid's Tale society here.
All of you women,
Would not sleep with her.
I wouldn't
Who
sleep with
sat
anybody
home?
on here.
The first girl.
all
was
you young
possible.
girls, adults over 18 years old who did not go out and vote,
Her eyes twitching.
who did not think that you need to protect your womb,
Look
Her
at her
eyes
eyes.
twitching. I
we're
know.
now back in the dark ages.
Brace
Would not
yourselves,
sleep with this
ladies.
woman. She's gross.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
These people are all
My
physically
heart
unattractive.
is just broken.
These are the
I
women
don't
that should not
understand
be
why
worried
this
about getting
country
pregnant
hates
'cause men
women
don't
so
wanna impregnate
much.
them.
I just don't understand it.
Do you notice that all these girls are unattractive?
We'll get through
All these
this.
women are
We'll
unattractive.
figure out a way.
Don't misgender them.
Here's
You
another
don't know
one.
if they're a
We're
woman.
joking
That's
about.
true. That's true. You know, I don't know. Here's another one. Look at this winner.
Men get abortions too.
Yeah.
Handmaid's Tale.
It's no longer a woman's issue.
Look at this winner. Look at that neck.
The neck.
Now, normally I don't throw it ad hominem attacks. I want to be clear about that, guys. Usually I'm very my arguments are based on, rash reasoning. But with these people, they're so sick. This is such a level of sickness and they're so depraved that I think that commenting on her chins is appropriate in this case.
Paula said nice chins.
Exactly. I'm not trying to be rude here. I'm just calling it like it is.
They're sick in the head. Yeah, it's obvious. I hope this doesn't, as I was watching Tim Cast. Do you ever watch Tim? He's like he's the Civil War guy. Everything is hashtag Civil War. He's like, he hopes this doesn't cause a civil war. Wake up, Tim. We're in a civil war. We've been in the civil war since the coup. When the coup happened. When it happened. A dementia patient that can't talk and his wife sold 200 copies of her book, won more votes than any president in the history of the planet.
And just for the record, for YouTube guidelines
It's
and
cool.
To make sure that we abide by the rules of our
Allegedly,
Joe Biden did win the election, guys, fair and square. There is no evidence of any type of malfeasance, voter fraud, or anyone who thinks that
at all.
is a psychopath, conspiracy theorist. And I hope that Nina Jankowicz's disinformation board of governance, whatever they're calling it, takes care of you and puts you where you belong in the trash, you conspiracy theorist. Trump lost fair and square. Get over it.
Absolutely. That is so. Thank you so much, Mary Poppins, for bringing that to my attention. Thank you.
Yes.
You fascist Mary Poppins, you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was an amazing show. Even though it was short, it was fun. It was short and sweet. I hope you liked it. Adam Francisco, where can we find you?
So, guys, TikTok is going to be where I like to post a lot. Adam Francisco TikTok too, because they nuked my first account. Rumble, YouTube, Truth Social, Adam Francisco everywhere.
Awesome. And you all can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Ricky Rebel Rocks. Go ahead and follow my YouTube channel, Ricky Rebel TV. Thank you so much for this, for coming to the show, for sharing the live broadcast, for liking it, and coming every single Tuesday at 12 p.m. PST. Again, I'm going to give a big shout out to C60 Evo. You guys should try this amazing super antioxidant available on my website, rickyrebelrocks.com. And don't forget to use discount code EVRRR are. Goodbye, everybody. We will see you next week. We love you. Thank you.
Right.
Mwah. Have a great week.
Besos.
Besos. Besos.